Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Martina and I would like to invite you to join me in exploring this journal with the name Everlasting Memories. Well, she turned out to be a biggie. She has a lot of vintage vibes, some nostalgic elements, antique ephemera, and without any further ado, let's just start. Well, let's start with the cover as usual. You don't see a lot about the cover because it is stuffed, but I show you the back side and then we are talking about the front. So, the cover has been made from a wonderful, really beautiful upholstery fabric. It's thick, it has really nice touch, and it's also, of course, has this vintage vibes. And I have refrained from doing any further decoration on the backside other than attaching or sewing on this antique or vintage metallic trim, which nicely matches the theme of this Everlasting Memories journal. But let's go to the front. Well, let me first take off the different elements which I have put into this pocket which I have attached on the front. And also you see, of course, this really pretty upholstery fabric. I have formed a pocket from some vintage sari trim, and it nicely matches the colors, the scheme, the vibes. I have added some nice trim on the edge, and I have also further decorated the front, as you can see, by adding a ruffle from a curtain material which I have coffee dyed. I have attached 3 vintage buttons, and this one in the middle I think shows a lion, and also this reddish tone around the button nicely matches the color scheme. And then I've also added another cotton trim which also has been coffee dyed. But let's have a look what I have put into this bag, because this was also partly responsible for the name creation. But let's start with this little one, and this little one is just a little very tiny booklet which I have created, forming the cover from some kind of velvet material. I have added this metal button here and some lace on the edge, a bow, and inside you'll find some miniature things, some miniature postcards, and in this little tiny pocket, and coffee dyed paper, a little bit of lace, special paper with some nostalgic decor, and that's it. So it's just a nice thing. I had a lot of fun making it, and I thought it also from a color point of view nicely matches the front. But let's come to the other 2 elements. I had recently bought some vintage or even antique postcards on eBay, and it was funny because first I got 2 sets. So this one, and there was also some others, and there was apparently a girl, or a Fräulein Prinzler, and this lady called Fräulein Prinzler had received many cards, and some of the cards have even been written on the front side, so I think this is really nice. And yeah, I kept it here, and there are some more of these cards included. And the only downside is that this has been written in the old German handwriting, and I cannot really read it. I can read parts of it, but I cannot really read all of it. So it remains a mystery, at least for me. And then the other set of cards which I received when I bought it on eBay, this was so funny because they were named in German Meine liebe süße Mausi. So I try to translate this in English, and it means something like my dear little sweetheart. And there were a few of these cards addressed to my little dear sweetheart, or my little dear darling, my sweet darling. And so it was some love, romantic writing apparently. Again, I could not read everything. So, but this inspired me for the name, so I thought this is a journal for everlasting memories. And I kept those 2 cards inside here, as well as this little booklet and some further decoration, which you may or may not use, because as usual, this journal is available in my Etsy shop. But let's go inside. No, not quite, because before we do, I'm going to tell you about the dimension. And she's also quite heavy, because she is staffed quite a bit. Okay, so the dimensions are 21 centimeters, 14 centimeters, and I created a 7 centimeter spine because I thought then it will prevent me from creating an alligator mouth, and I did not succeed in that respect. But you will see. In inches, this means 8 1/4, 5 1/2, and the spine is 2 3/4. And then I also thought about a different kind of closure. So sometimes I use just bows to make a nice bow in the middle. Sometimes I use things with push buttons to close it, or with some other metal closing. This time I did something different because I created this collage from different material in these red tones and in these gold tones, which so perfectly match the color scheme. Then I added this button. I have sewn this on some pretty brocade trim. You can see it when I open it. And then I thought, why don't I just make a bow on the right side of this journal? And this is what I did. And I used exactly the same material, which I have also used for creating the ruffle on the front side. So this is the bow which keeps it shut. And you are already seeing right now that she opens to a big alligator mouth, because as usual I could not stop decorating, and I even had to force myself to start the video right now because I decorated and decorated, and I thought no, we have to stop, and this is it. Okay, but let's open that one. So, and you see she's really packed. And why is she packed? Well, first of all, she has more than 170 pages, so 170 pages. And here you have a look on this nice brocade trim where I've sewn on the collage. She has more than 75 pieces of ephemera. I counted them because I thought, well, I'm interested to see how many. Well, quite some. So if you, as the future owner, don't want to have this alligator mouth, don't worry. Just take out the stuff you don't like or you don't want, or you whatever is not applicable for you, and you can slim her down considerably. So don't worry. But let's open the lady now. And I stayed in this color scheme, in this brownish, reddish, gold tones. But you will see throughout this journal I also had 1 or 2 breaks of these color schemes, and I did it deliberately. But let's now have a look on this left-hand side. So what I created here, and I do this from time to time, I created flip-outs, and the flip-outs also form or serve as pockets. So I have closed it with a bow from chiffon. So let's open that. You see a flip-out. And in this flip out, what you find here is a journaling card, and I've also attached a tab so that it's easier to take things out. So I have attached some tabs, but not too many. So let's put this back. Here you see a flip out, which is an envelope, and this envelope is closed, and it also has a Velcro so that it stays closed. And then you can open it here, and there is another journaling card. And almost all of my journaling cards in this journal are backed with packaging paper. And here you see another of this vintage postcards, and they are from the beginning of last century, so 1918, something like this. And this shows a pretty lady, and it is addressed to this Mrs. Prinzler, Miss Marie Prinzler. And the funny thing here is, whilst the card before has been sent within Germany, this one is sent to Milwaukee in Wisconsin. So apparently this lady either traveled or moved to the US. And when I look at the date, then it says the 26th of August in 1908. So it's quite old, and you will find some, as I said, some of these cards in this journal. And then what I did here is I've used some cardstock, some design paper, and I have decorated it further with some lace elements, which I've cut out and glued on. And this one here forms the pocket where the lady sits. So this was that. But now let's go into the content, let's say the real content of this journal. And she has 5 signatures. So let's start, of course, with the first one. And the first one has been decorated with some sari silk, ruffled. And you find some of these ruffles throughout this journal. And almost all of them do fray. So I hope you are not afraid of fraying. So let's open it. And here I have used to back this piece of paper, I have used some other nice digital paper, and on the opposite side as well. And I think this forms some nice harmony. And I hope you don't mind my crazy sewing here. It's a little bit, it's not straight, it's a little bit uneven. Well, I'm not perfect, I hope you don't mind. Some lace here, stenciling on the inside because I didn't like the white inside. And then here I have formed a pocket, or let's say a double pocket, and I have filled it mainly with the old collector cards, which lucky me, I still have some left, with these really wonderful flowers. And it's in German, obviously, and they look so pretty. And then I have those two here, and then I formed another one, turned it into a kind of a bookmark, decorated with lace. And I've also attached this book belongs to card for the future owner. And I put it back later. And it all sits on this really pretty stamperia paper. Here is a calling card, says Forget Me Not, therefore also Everlasting Memories, the name of this journal. And here I've created a paper clip with some bling and some white cotton from an old table runner or something like that. So it can be attached here. Very pretty lace, which I use very selectively because it's so pretty and I don't have so much left. But I think it nicely fits to this nostalgic feeling of this journal. On the back side, what I did here is I used some modeling paste and stenciled this, this flower picture on some cardstock. And then I also used some colors, some color pigments in order to give it a little bit of a color vibe. I put this back here. So, yeah. In tune with this nostalgic character of this journal. I have used, on several occasions, I have used some pages from an old book dated 1866, and the title is Album of German Lyrics. So apparently there are poems, there are lyrics, and most importantly, there are these wonderful graphics. So I've used some of them in this journal in order to stay in tune with this nostalgia image, which I wanted to create. And this here, the title is Die Sommergeister, and if I may translate it into something like Summer Fairies. And I've also turned this into a pocket, and there is another journaling card behind it or inside it, and it shows some really nice flowers. So there are, of course, flowers in this journal as well, because this is what I think needs, to my taste, should be in a journal. A very nice digital paper here. Paper doily, which I have coffee and color dyed. Coffee dyed paper. Some gift wrapping paper. I love to use gift wrapping paper when it's beautiful, and this one is, and it also has a nice touch. It's a little bit thicker. And you see another paper clip, and when you turn it, then you see this is a kind of a graphic, or not graphic, a picture from art of Renaissance. And I liked this motif, and therefore I put it in. And also the colors, of course, are perfect for this journal. And on the opposite side, you see nice trim, but you also do see a collaged tag, which I like to do whenever I have enough paper scraps and other scraps, like this is silk, and this is silk, and then burlap, and I've used also this transparent thing. And then I have hand sewn on these cute little buttons, which Tracy, hi Tracy, has gifted to me recently. And so that's the one here, and it sits in this pocket. There's another side pocket, and there is some rose card. And here I did some stenciling in order to give it another design element. On the opposite side, you see something which comes from a book, not an old book, but a book which showed the Victorian fashion. And I have, it's from Harper's Bazaar, I think. And I've cut out this piece of this page, and I've coffee dyed it. And I've also distressed the edges to give it this real vintage look. And it looks nice on this side, but it also looks nice on the other side, where it shows some heads and some hair fashion, hair dresses, apparently. What you see here is something I have stamped on cotton, backed with some paper, sewn around and attached with a pin. I also did from time to time in this journal some decoupage, because I wanted to have this touch. I wanted also to have this, what I like when you do decoupage on coffee dyed paper, at least when I do it, then I get this kind of a shadow. And I like it. I think it looks nice, and this is what I did here. And on the opposite side, in tune with this color world here in this orange and blue, I have attached some hand-dyed paper, and I used some brushes. I think it was coffee dyed and it was brush dyed. And I made a ruffle from satin. To stay in this vintage character of this journal, I have also, in the center spot of the first signature, I have attached this piece of paper which forms the cover of a magazine about plants. So it's also quite old. It's also from end of the 19th century. And I have attached two decor elements, just to make it easier to flip. And of course, because it's quite brittle, I have also secured it with washi tape on both sides, I guess. Yes, both sides. This is cotton lace. And this, again, something vintage or even antique, stems from an old book, a Dutch book. And it's also from the 1890s, something like this. And it's the spine, and I've just glued it on because I thought it's nice and it's something special. We can turn this. Then you see this flippy outs. So I have just folded piece of this part of the page, and I've turned it into a kind of a belly band, and inside there is a journaling card decorated with some ruffles, and the journaling card does show one of my preferred plants, which are hydrangeas, and the colors are so well in tune. This is again from Harper's Bazaar, the hairdresses, and this is, as I mentioned before, from this old book from 1866, one of the graphics. Some fine lace forming something like a curtain. You can flip it up, and behind it you find another collaged tag, which I did using different material and sewing around. And it sits in this pocket, which I have also decorated further, namely using some nice trim with some sequins. Sequels. Stamping on gift wrapping paper, stamping on this paper, ruffles on this side, just fine lace. I like the color because I wanted to have some dark red in this journal as well. And on the next page, what you see here is a side pocket, and in this side pocket another journaling card showing two Victorian ladies in their wonderful dresses. This is stenciled as you have seen before, and look at this. I like this view on this page because you have the roses from left to right, and they start light and they become darker. And I think it's a nice view. So we are at the end of the first signature, and the end of the first signature also shows something, let's call it special because I haven't done it before. What I did is I made a collage from different scrap fabrics which I had in my stash, and then I formed an envelope out of it and decorated it with lace. And inside there are two small journaling cards. And I have put it in this belly band which I've sewn on. So it looks like this. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is decorated with double layers of lace, inside backed with old music paper, and further decorated with another graphic from this old lyrics book. And I have picked this music paper because it says Little Beauty. And as we have these cards addressed to my dear little sweetheart, I thought Little Beauty is the perfect match. Again, decoupage. Yeah, and then here I have used, this is not vintage, I'm very sure, because it's a kind of a foil, but it has these really pretty colors. It has this violet, and it has green, and it also matches perfectly to this hydrangea. And because of the violet, I have also picked the violet trim. And this has been gifted to me by my friend Sarah from Canada. Hi, Sarah. And because I like this foil so much, I have also used a piece here and wrapped it around another journaling card. You see the back side. Isn't this nice? And because I wanted to have this pretty foil or this pretty design peep out of this envelope. So you have those two here. Yeah. And by the way, Sarah also does have a YouTube channel, and she makes really, really pretty journals, and I'm going to link her in the description so you can have a look. This is digital paper, looking old, is not old, but I used it, and I have stamped on the back side in order to stay in tune with this old look. Then here I have created some pocket, used washi tape here, ruffled there with some curtain material. I like the colors because they are green and light green, dark green, a little bit pink, and they match perfectly. And then here I added just a little longer journaling card. I like this blue, and I like this, or green, blue, whatever. Here again, as I mentioned before, from this old book, I have picked a poem, and I've picked it on purpose, this one, because it says Der Brautkranz, and it's about a girl who is going to get married. She is currently being decorated with this kind of a flower arrangement on her head, and in this poem she thanks her sisters to take care of her, and she is a little bit sad to have to leave them, and so that's the thing. Decoupage on the opposite side, another pocket and another journaling card showing a hydrangea here, and this pocket is formed from some cotton material, cotton lace, which I have coffee dyed. A lot of coffee dyeing happened, not only on paper but also on fabric. I promised that I'm going to break the color scheme, and this is one of the occasions where I did. So I've used this really, really pretty digital paper. The tag, of course, matches exactly the design of this paper here because it's one set. and I just like the view on this page. And this is also a pocket, and this pocket here has another journaling card. And also from this side, I love this wonderful butterfly on the green, and inside this pocket, the side pocket which I have formed, there is a journaling card, but there is also another of these old postcards addressed to meine liebe Mausi, my dear Mausi. And Mausi in German is the smaller version of a mouse, little mouse, my dear little mouse. So this is a kind of a nickname for little girls or little sweethearts. So this is another nice lace. This is stenciled, as you see. And here I formed another pocket. And inside this pocket, a card, which is on packaging paper, ruffled, some lace over here. And this card stems from a decor book from Laura Ashley, and it just shows a picture and some curtains, and I thought it looks nice. I liked the colors, I liked this dark red, and I think it looks nice over here. So, oops, coffee dyed pink paper with some nice lace, washi tape on the opposite side, again this digital paper. And here there is another pocket with two smaller journaling cards, a longer one and a smaller one, lace. I do love these teal blue, and I've combined different sets of digital and design paper and journaling cards here in this picture, and also did some stenciling in this color scheme. So I think it looks quite nice, and I have attached this pretty journaling card over there. And here there is a little postcard. Stamping on old book paper. I love this motif, and I love how it looks, because it has some vintage vibe and it's just pretty. I also have attached pieces of this album where these collector cards have been put in. As I said, it stems from about the year 1930-ish, something like this. It's quite brittle, it's thick paper, it's quite brittle, and therefore I have secured it with washi tape. But I liked it, and I think also the explanation or the description of the different flowers, it's very nice. This brings us towards the end, or to the end of the second signature, and again, this is the music paper. It's decorated with lace, and it's also decorated with something I cut out from a tablecloth. This flower motif, also coffee dyed. A journaling card in this light green tones, which nicely match the colors, of course. And another of these cards. And I cannot read it, but it shows a nice angel. It shows an angel with a violin. Why not? So we come to number 3, and number 3 has a kind of an additional belt, so to say, belt around it, which I have decorated with 2 layers of lace. Inside there is a lace pocket, and in this lace pocket there is a journaling card featuring a lady. I've also decorated the inside of this design paper or digital paper, not only with these ruffles, but I've also glued on those 2 elements here. And when you turn it, there is a side pocket on this really pretty rose motif paper, and a bigger journaling card with blue on the back side showing butterflies. What I did here is I have sewn on these elements from a digital paper on some tablecloth. So this is cotton. I had coffee dyed it before. I kept the hand crocheted border, and it's just decoration, just to be pretty. You can flip it up. You can see the sewing here. You can flip it up, and behind it you see another vintage, I think antique element. This is the cover from a description of the opera. I think it's an opera Tosca from Puccini. and I liked the colors. I liked this green, this aged green, and therefore I kept it here, covered it or secured it with this cotton wrap up. And when you turn it, then I've also glued on some more information about Tosca in this on the back side of the cover. This is some vellum, which also has been gifted to me by Tracy. This is another digital paper, also stamped on the back side. Then I also did use wallpaper throughout this journal, because I found so many nice motifs, and this is one of those. So this is a wallpaper border, but it has this really pretty rose motifs, and it nicely matches the colors over here. So I used it here, turned it into pockets, because there is a pocket here showing another small journaling card with a rose motif, and there is another pocket there, and two tiny journaling cards, and a wine label, an original wine label, which also has been given to me by Sarah. I backed it with some old book paper. This is so pretty. I love this design very much, and I've further decorated it with this fine lace. Again, stamping on old book paper, vellum with some very nice flower motifs, gift wrapping paper, another pretty one, coffee dyed, stenciled and color dyed paper which I made. Then I also coffee dyed some pages from a Japanese book. I have no clue what is written in there, but I thought it's nice. It's something special for us Westerners, and therefore I kept it here. Some special paper over there. Something which I have cut out from this old lyrics book, and it says rainbow. So I think it's also a nice theme. And you see the rainbow here, you see the deers, and it's a nice motif. On the opposite side, I have attached an envelope which I had coffee dyed, which I had stenciled, decorated with lace, and then I found out that it's really, really brittle. So I tried to secure it with washi tape. I further decorated the backside, and then I thought, oh my god, it's so difficult to put something here inside, so I cut it open, and what I put inside here is another of these old cards, and again addressed to my dear Mausi, to my dear sweetheart, and it has a love poem on top on it. So yeah, I think everlasting memories, that's the right name for this journal. Here I just made a little decoration showing some envelopes which I made from paper scrap. Another vintage or antique element is Schriften für junge Mädchen. So these are recommended books for young girls or for teenage girls. And yeah, I think I liked it, so I added it here, secured it with washi tape as usual, because brittle, old brittle, so keep it in here. This is again the Japanese paper. And then what I recently did in a recent journal, and I did it here again, is I made some cuts on cardstock to allow elements to be put in and to be taken off if wanted. So what I put in here are two journaling cards which I have collaged, and this journaling card also has attached a smaller one. So you can smaller tag, you can put it back like that and like that, and I think it also looks quite pretty. And this was one of the last decor elements which I added. The journal was ready, but I thought, oh, let's do something more. So this is the gift wrapping paper, this is the vellum. Here I have also added an antique element stemming from this, what I've shown you on the center spot of the first signature, from this plant magazine. So I cut out parts of it here and added it because it looks so vintage. And it is vintage. It's even antique, I think. Again, a journaling card. And another pocket here, showing a postcard. And this is the wallpaper. So, and this is also wallpaper. Look at this. This is wallpaper, this is digital paper, and this is wallpaper. And I think it looks so pretty. This is also one of the pretty views on this journal. And what you see here is I have used silk to secure it. And also secure the front side because it was this Tosca. You see this one here, which is also quite brittle. I've used the silk to secure it here. So, put this back. Nice journaling card. And this is, here. Maybe you have missed him already, but here he comes. Here comes the peacock. Okay, so we are number 4. And number 4 has been decorated heavily. Ruffle from satin. Very old vintage or antique, I don't know, probably vintage lace on the side, and also lace on the bottom around this thing which goes around the signature. So inside backed with nice paper, wallpaper again a pocket and a journaling card inside. And on the back side there is a longer journaling card or bookmark, whatever. And it says, good luck and happiness upon you wait. Sitting here, again this curtain material in this pretty greens. Here I've glued on some lace. And here you see something which is held by a bow or is closed by a bow. And this is formed from wallpaper again, and this shows a bookshelf from old books, and it looks really pretty. Look at this. Isn't this nice? Isn't this cute? And I just added it here because I wanted to. And now we come to a very busy page, and we come to a page where is something special, I would say. So first of all, this is a doily, so a cotton doily, which I have cut in half and sewn around and sewn on this cardstock. And what you have seen inside is a combination of different things. First of all, there is a bow. You can open the bow, obviously, and the bow has also been decorated with one of my self-created tags, which I do by decoupaging and embossing. Then there is another journaling card, which is also carrying one of the collector cards, which I've shown you before. And then what you see here is something which Natasha from Treasure Books has recently shown, and I have used it again. I did use it in some other journal, but now I did it again. So it's just a stack of different papers glued in some uneven way in order to give it more interest. I also cut it with some special scissors. So this is the gift wrapping paper, and the funny thing is you can open it like this and you would have room to write. So you have some, let's say, hidden space to write something. You see, this is lightly stenciled. This is coffee dyed and stenciled. And then there is another one. And then there is the last one. So each page becomes bigger because they are stacked. And you can use it for writing or for decorating, or you can even take it off because it's quite bulky and it adds to the thickness of this journal. Here there is a paper bag which is coffee dyed and color dyed and stenciled, and also some gold elements are here sewn in the middle. So I have 2 compartments, and oops, there are small journaling cards inside. So you see. And you also see the backside is also nice, I think. And here you see 2 longer journaling cards with pretty birds sitting in this pocket, and the edge has been decorated with sari silk. Vintage. Coffee dyed paper. Not coffee dyed paper, but coffee dyed lace. Again, a page from this lyric books, Geist der Jugend, so I would translate it very freely in Forever Young. This is cotton. This is another nice journaling card. I like this teal, I mentioned it before, so I've decorated different teal elements, and also this special paper I like. And I stenciled on the back side because I didn't like the white. Then here there is another vellum with some wildflower motifs, and I thought, well, the few pages which I have from my eco-dyeing exercises, so I gave one to this journal to match the wildflowers here, wildflowers there. This is another nice page with some postcard over there. When you turn it like this, then you see another tablecloth or table runner, little table doily or whatever, which I have coffee dyed. It was pure white, so it didn't match to this vintage theme. So I coffee dyed it, added a bow. You can open it, flip it up, and there is a journaling card which you can take off, and you see behind it there is this really, really pretty motif. And the journaling card has been further decorated with lace, and it's backed with gold. So yeah, this was a little playful thing which I like to do, and I put it back. Close the bow later. So this is again wallpaper. It looks pretty, and inside there is a journaling card also decorated with ruffle from this curtain material. And now we come to the other two compartments of this paper bag, and inside you find my self-created tags. Show you, they are embossed and made from napkin and old book paper, and also gold flaking, and also varnished in order to make them as resistant as possible. And this here I created as the very last decoration item. It's decor, but it also is a pocket, and inside this pocket there is a journaling card in this pink orangey colors. You can close this one, and on the right hand side what you see here is a trilogy of pockets. So I formed 3 pockets, and in these green tones added this green lace, coffee dyed again, and then there are very tiny or smaller journaling cards included. Also pretty. And this one I have also decorated with lace, with this lace flower. So yeah, and now we come to something where I'm not so happy about, but I think it's neglectable. You see this pretty peacock here, and I thought, oh, maybe I can form a kind of a hidden thing. And I wanted to have it closed, and so I added velcros, and I didn't like the velcros once they were put on, unfortunately. I show you, it looks quite white. It looks, I tried to decorate it a little bit more, but overall I'm not so happy with it. But I'm happy with what I have put behind this belly band, because this is also a gift from my friend Sarah, and this is from an Welsh or Celtic book in Celtic language. And apparently it's a music book, and I cannot read it. So maybe someone of you can, I cannot. And I put it back. So if you don't like it, what I've done, what I've created here, well, anyway, you can cover it up because it stays put. So, okay, here there's another postcard on this wallpaper. And here you see another paper clip which I've created from some coffee dyed doily, and a vintage button, just for decor purposes. Number 5. Oh yeah, it's a long video. I'm so sorry. Well, this is lace as you can see. This is again this wonderful foil, which I have used, and I used it here on purpose because I wanted to give this vibrancy to this color, to this page. And here I have another journaling card sitting in this transparent pocket. This is also a nice page, I think. The two roses and this one here stems from an old T-shirt from me, which I've cut out. So again the foil, coffee dyed paper, again vellum with some wildflowers. This is from an old book about Ireland. This is coffee dyed again in order to give it a more vintage look. I think the book itself is about from 1940, 50. Stenciling, another rose ensemble carrying two rose cards. This is a postcard featuring a painting from Edgar Degas, Dancers. This stems from a hotel. This is just heavy stitching or fancy stitching. Another pocket, another stenciling, matching this green here. Decor. Another belly band from some cotton material. Two roses, again in this wonderful teal, matching this green here and this green there. This is the Irish book. This is vellum, this is paper, this is again these old vintage parts from this magazine, and this is the last, not the last, almost the last pocket, another journaling card matching the decor over here. And when you turn it, then you see the last postcard, again showing a pretty lady, and again it went to Fräulein Marie Prinzler in Milwaukee. So, yeah, so this was Everlasting Memories. I know it was long. It's a biggie. I hope you could stand it. And I hope to see you soon. Have a very nice day. And talk to you soon. It was a pleasure. Your Martina. Bye-bye.